to Thriving in Abundance Talk. This is our Woman Thrive series. Namhlanje, we have Umama Silindile Khanyile, who is the editor of Umele, founder and editor of Umele. We spotlight Lona usemkantshubovu kulo mkhakha okuhlela. Ake ngithathelele ithuba ke ngikwamukele kuyi-Woman Thrive series, Mam Khanyile.
Awubona Sizodwa, ngiyabingelela nababukeli.
Unjani?
Ngiyaphila ninjani?
Siyaphila. You look amazing. Where are your glasses?
Uyahlekisa. Ay, ngiyabonga. Yize nje it's an unusual place.
Yeah, uyafona kodwa.
Ngiyanibona ukuba on this side kungabi nobuza imibuzo. It's an unusual place.
Okay, all right. Oh yes. Hey, yeah, ngayazi lenhlobo yenu niyastrugglisha. So I'm gonna have fun doing that today. Ukuthi ube kwi-spotlight. Siyakwamukela ke once more on a Woman Thrive series. Siyakwa Thriving in Abundance Talk. Akusitshele nje ngosilindile from primary to college up until uzuqale ukwenza lo msebenzi owenzayo wobuntatheli.
Okay, ngiyabingelela futhi. So mina ngikhulele endaweni eziwu-3. Initially kwaMashu, kwaJika uTshanini, ngafunda eDumani. Until standard 2 or grade 4 manje. See, I'm showing my age. And then from standard 2, I then ngahlala eMelmoth kwaMagwaza. Ukhona nasekhaya lapho. Ngangihlala noma ngaleso sikhathi because kwaMashu ngangihlala nogogo nomkhulu. Kahle hle abantu abangikhulisile kakhulu ugogo nomkhulu abazala uma. And then after 4 years eMelmoth ngafunda eMfanefile primary, and then nakwaMagwaza nonyaka owodwa kwaNxusa high school. And then after standard 6 ngabuya eThekwini ngizohlala nogogo nomkhulu futhi, but ngaleso sikhathi ekhaya basebethuthele kwasekuthuthele Phoenix. So I then went to a predominantly Indian high school kwa standard 7 to matric. eDelview ngaqeda eGreenberry secondary. Emva kwalokho ke ngase ngayithola ngafundela ubuntatheli. Ngesikhathi ngise high school ngangithanda i-English ne-biology, so ngangazi ukuthi whatever it is engizoyi pursue after matric kuzoba into ephathelene either ne-English noma i-biology. Initially I went after izinto ze-biology, but engangakufactorishanga ukuthi eziningi zidinga mathematics, which I had dropped kwa standard 7. So I then went for English, but ey'ndaweni ey'ningi ngoba ngangiphesiwa lento yelokhuzane ye-biology, so i-journalism ngangingayi-aplayelanga ngagcina kodwa-ke sengithathwa eDamelin College. So that's where I did journalism, and ngaleso sikhathi-ke kwakufunda unyaka owodwa eDamelin ama-diploma khona. So because kwakukudala, it was ngaqeda umatric ngo-1997, so it was 1998.
All right.
And then immediately after, I then got a job as an intern at SABC. Ngangazi futhi nangaleso sikhathi ngise journalism college, ngase ngazi ukuthi emtathelini into engingathanda ukuyenza is ukubhala isports, specifically ibhola. So uma ngifike SABC, well ngoba ngangi-intern usuku senza yonke into. I then field reporting, ube sedeskini lezindaba kwa current affairs. But after I think about 18 months ngahamba e-SABC, ngaqala kwa lafezeka leli phupho le sports, ngahamba ngayoba i-soccer writer. kwakune news agents okwakuthiwa isapha mhlawumbe abantu bazokhumbula uma befunda amaphepha at the bottom kwakuyaye kube nje yes so ngasebenza esapha eJohannesburg as a soccer writer. I covered ama club ePSL iBafana Bafana ama Klub under 23 and then ngabuya esapha ngazo sebenze independent newspapers nakhona ngangisabhala ilokhuzane isports initially uma ngifike independent ngajoyina ama English titles kwakune sports desk la non-contributor kuona wonke amaphepha. It was 3 months after Independent had launched iSolezwe, but ngaqale mina ngafikela emaphepheni lawo esingisi and ngaleso sikhathi ngangibhala every other sporting code except well ibhola necricket nerugby. So I then did boxing, athletics, swimming, lawo ma codes. And then after about a year or so ngase ngiyasuka kuma English titles ngase ngiya kwiSolezwe. Then ke mase ngibuyele kwiSolezwe, mase ngikwiSolezwe rather ngabhala ibhola again. So in total ngagcina ngibe sports writer for 7 years.
Wow. That's amazing. So, actually, I'm curious to know what is it that pulled you towards sports, you know, because yes, I know sometimes, okay, it's a stereotype, I suppose, but females usually would have chosen other things, you know. What pulled you towards sports?
Yeah, kuno umunye ubhuti wami osashona owaye ngesikhathi ngifunda standard 7 ngo-1994 kune-World Cup e-USA. So ngangithi uma ngicela usizo nge-homework e-Afrikaans, he would agree on condition ukuthi amanye ama-game ngizowabuka naye because of the time zone amanye ama-game ayedlala ebusuku. So ngaqala lapho, but vele ekhaya ke ibhola liyathandwa. Kodwa from lokho ngagcina nami sengine interest and it was 1994 and then kwaphinde kwanyuka nane hype when iBafana Bafana then iwin Nations Cup ngo-1996 kwaqhubeka kanjalo kwaqhubeka, but ekhaya vele ibhola lalihlale libukwa njengoba ngisho ngithi this late brother of mine wayehlala ahlalele ebuka ama games e-World Cup, but kwaqala kanjalo. But then also ugogo kwakuthengwa ekhaya nelokhuzane ama publications ahlukene. So kwakuthengwa idrama ekhaya, kuthengwa Ilanga, ubaba wayethanda Ilanga, kwakuthengwa ne-Reader's Digest, and then also uma wayethenga Independent on Saturday. So ekufundeni all these different publications ngagcina sengijwayele ne-Independent on Saturday, and ngaleso sikhathi Independent on Saturday kwakukhona enye ama-veteran journalist at that time, ubhuti Thomas Kwenayide owayeyisebenzela, and he was, I think, if I recall kahle, wayeyi-sports editor. So but wayinane column eyayiphuma kwi-Independent on Saturday. So I enjoyed his column, and then I started reading more of ilokhuzane, itori about sports nebola, and nakwi-drum I would read umsebenzi wobhuti, the late Bhuti Sibumseleku, and the late this other guy, Tony Mashadi. So ngaqala nje because of leyo exposure naku leyo reading material eyayihlala ikhona ekhaya, nga enjoy istories of sports. So okay, that's how I then decided ukuthi mina ngizothanda ngoba vele nebhola ngase ngili-enjoya ngalokhuza ke ngagcina ngingene kanjalo.
Okay, all right. So Mina, by the time I meet you, you have now moved to business reports. Usukubhala lapho ukhombisa ubungcweti obumangalisayo ngokubhala ngezebhizinisi. Actually, to be quite honest, I didn't realize what you started with the sports for such a long time. To me, it always sounded like you've always been a business journalist because you were quite fluent and conversant on the business side of things. So when did you move, or what attracted you to now go towards the business side?
I'll be honest, ngangingena interest at all with financial journalism futhi kwakama page lawa engangawafundi nanokuwafunda you know mangifunda iphepha or any other publication ngoba nganginento nje yokuthi ngibona ngathi kuyabhora okokuqala as a sports journalist you know umuye emsebenzini mhlambe uye stadium. So ukwazi ukuya emsebenzini ngamateki mina the most comfortable shoe mina i-All Star nje kunjalo you know so leyo ukuthi uthi umubuka ama-financial journalists and you look at them and hey labantu bagqokile ba-serious baye emsebenzini ngize ngeke yabo nje it did not appeal to me at all. But interestingly, and namhlanje I had a conversation with a friend ngisho ngithi because besikhuluma nje ngenye into reflecting when you then start connecting the dots ezinye izinto ziyenzeka but ungaboni ukuthi hayibo uNkulunkulu has already started planting a seed ngoba bengisho ngikhuluma naye umngane wami ngithi ngiyakhumbula ukuthi because njoba ngishilo ukuthi SABC wawusebenza yonke indawo as an intern so ngagcina kodwa sengihlale kakhulu kwa current affairs la sasenza khona ezanamuhle isematheni nabasikubebunda and ngagcina ngisebenze futhi isikhathi eside kwezanamuhla so kwezanamuhla well sasithi na on the side so producer go presenter uVictor Mlife at that time umuntu esasebenza naye but enye yezinto that I was asked to do was translate some of itori zelokhuzane ze-economics so kwakukhona nje a very brief economics slot la sasithatha material either from the economics desk or any of the international news wires usho ukuthi irandi limi kanjani i-crude oil dayisa malini the action nje leyo nto leyo so I used to do that the SABC so right from the beginning vele but kuukuthi ngangikwenza mina ngoba kuthiwa ngikwenze emsebenzini and I didn't want to do it ngangisho nje ngithi cha yazi lento le but ke ukwenze phela ngoba kuthiwa emsebenzini yenza you know so
job
umsebenzi but how I then ended up well ngaqala ukujwayela kancane ukuthi ngibe open to financial journalism because umyeni wami wasebenza kwi-financial publication before me so ngaqala ngoba ngizama uku-understanda umsebenzi wakhe ukuthi okay umayelana nani and ngathi uma ngifunda ngibona ukuthi yazi lezi stories ziyazwakala ngiyakuzwa okunye khona ngangingakuzwa but okunye ngithi how yazi kuyazwakala but still
kuzwakala ngempela noma kuzwakala bakubhalo yena
no wayengabhali yena waye sub editor waye sub editor wayengasabhali but still nje I still had not thought of ukuthi hayi ila kufanele ngiye khona kodwa after 7 years ngaqala ngaba restless ngazizwa ukuthi ngibhorekile ekubhaleni ibhola I felt ukuthi lalingasangichallenge nje yes kwakumnandi ke stadium namanje ngisakuthanda ke stadium iCovid nje ayiphela umuntu ezobuyela stadium kodwa nje ukubhala ngakho ngangingasa enjoy so what I then done ngakhuluma ne-editor eyayikhona ngaleso sikhathi ngoba ngase ngisebenzele iSolezwe ngakhuluma ne-editor eyayikhona ngaleso sikhathi uThulani Mbatha ngasho unfortunately uThulani wayekade vele ekade immediate boss yami ngoba wayekade sports editor before abe editor yephepha lonke. So ngaya kuyena ngasho ngathi ayi ngibhorekile, yini enye into mhlambe enginganikezwa yona engingayenza newsroom. Wayesethi angeke ngizame i-entertainment and lifestyle mhlambe ngicoordinate lawo ma-pages. Hayi ngavuma ngoba ngithi what do I have to lose, ngoba ngibhorekile ukubhala ibhola. Kodwa nje leye ye-entertainment and lifestyle kwasheshe kwacaca ukuthi hayi akuzukuba nje into yami, angizange ngi-enjoye because umuntu was also well ngaso sonke isikhathi kwa-journalism sidila nabo abantu aba-prominent, but angazi a prominent business person and a prominent entertainer into ey'mbili ey'ngafani. So kwakungifrustrate, akungibhora nje nento yoku ngathi you are managing egos more than anything. So I didn't enjoy lifestyle and entertainment. Fortunately ngangisayenza u6 months kwase qhamuka opportunity to join a business report. Ngathi what do I have to lose?
And how was that now moving from a vernacular newspaper, writing about something completely different, lifestyle and entertainment, and then now moving to a business a section also in English? You know, I'm just like curious about that kind of transition. What does it take?
Kwakukhona initially ukuthi mhlambe uzoba a bit rusty ngoba kade usubhala ngesizulu njalo, nokuthi it's obviously i-financial journalism is very specialized from lokho kade ubhala ngakho. Kodwa ngihlale ngisho ukuthi ukubhala ngesizulu noma ngesingisi when it comes to journalism akusho lutho kahle hle ngoba imithetho ye-journalism iyafana. So ikhona nje ukuthi you then ngalana u-apply imithetho yolimi lwesizulu, ngalana u-apply imithetho yolimi lwesingisi. Kodwa i-journalism whether ubhala ngesizulu noma ngesingisi, into eyayikhona kakhulu kwaku-adapter to ukuthi uku-understanda i-financial journalism, uku-understand ukuthi ama-stats represent people, ngoba njoba ngisho engqondweni yami mina nganginokuthi i-financial journalism is just purely numbers, and kanti yes it is numbers, kodwa it is numbers that you must relate to abantu. It is as human interest as any other story, because i-unemployment figure kukhulunywa ngabantu, akukhulunywa nje, it's not an unemployment figure emoyeni yabo.
Yes.
So it was that, but into eyangisiza it was ukuthi ngangikwazi ukuthola i-guidance well even from ekhaya kulanga. But enye into eyangisiza, though kwase ayiseqala ama-challenges kwi-media industry, kodwa it was still isikhathi la relatively ama-newsrooms were still very well resourced. So uma ngifika I got ukuthi shadow people, I got ukuthi ngitrainwe. Kwakukhona ukuthi yes we expect you to deliver, kodwa siyazi ukuthi usazodinga i-training, usazodinga ukuthi sikucathulisa. So and i-newsroom yayigcwele right from the editor ubhuti uJabulani Sikhakhane, like uCream, you know, waka-financial uCream waka-financial journalism eSouth Africa. So nje wawuncela yonke indawo. So I think into enkulu yangisiza kwabayileyo. And then well kukhona lezi zinto esithi hayi into ikaNkulunkulu, then people would just, as people got to know your byline, uqhamuka abantu ongazi ubacabange nawe bakunika izitori, and as abantu ke bekujwayela njoba ngisho ukuthi i-journalism yafana. Once I started building ama contacts as well, then it started also becoming easier. Kodwa nje into enkulu I would say ukuthi it was because kwakuyisikhathi where in newsroom was still really well resourced. And zaziningi nezinto nokuyiswa kuma-training, you know, ngiyakhumbula nje bengikhuluma ngisazi nobani ngisho ngithi kade ngilalele kade kune Sanef gala dinner on Saturday, where I joined online.
Sorry.
And the sponsor sayo uSanlam. So as I was listening to umuntu wakaSanlam ekhuluma esho izinto abazenza ezinye ama-initiatives within the media industry, esho ukuthi banane Sanlam summer journalism school. Ngithi how isakhona ngoba ezinye zezinto that I went to lapho baye ba meme nakhona seasoned financial journalists and editors abafikayo bazontraina isonto lonke uma ngabe nisuke nifika kwi-industry. So all those things helped a great deal.
All right. And how long were you there at Business Reports, Conch?
I was there for 4.5 years. Those were
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the defining moment for a career. That was because it then changed yonke into.
Yeah.
It was 4.5 years. Yeah.
Amazing. I remember when I called you for the first time, and you were like, Sisilo. What a story. But that's a story for another day.
We are plump.
We've come a long way. All right, and then back to Isolezo. Now, when you went back to Isolezo, now you were a news editor.
Founding, no. Ngajumpa nalapho right from a business report ezintatheli ngelinye ilanga ngabizwa kwathiwa inkampani is going to launch iphepha langomgqibelo and we think ukuthi you would be perfect to be the founding editor yayo. Hayi ngacisha impela ngabaleka nje futhi ngathi hayi kanjani ngingakaze ngibe ngisho news editor. But umuntu who believed in me, omunye wabantu who have contributed a great deal with growth yami industry, uPhilani Mgwaba, insisted what, you know, I can do it. And
amazing.
ngahamba kanjalo. Wavele nje yabo khona le poster eyayicirculate ukuthi, you know, when grace locates you. uNkulunkulu wanginyula nje kanjalo and his grace located me kanjalo and so ngabuyela kwiSolezo as the founding editor yeSolezo ngomgqibelo. It was 2011 and then after lokho I then moved i-editor yayisikhona ngaleso sikhathi kwakusawu uBhutmazi uXaba, and then after a while kwaba uSazi Khadebe. So when uSazi became the editor, he then asked me to be i-deputy yakhe for all, ngoba ngaleso sikhathi kwase iSolezo selinama brands awu-3, to be i-deputy yakhe for all 3 brands. And then ngisathi mina-ke ngi-right, we're doing that, siyasebenza kamnandi noSazi. And then company changed hands, then had a new shareholder. Uma ngabe sekufika i-shareholder entsha waqhamuka uDr. Seve wathi actually we want you to move and uye Daily News. So I then moved to a Daily News ngayoba i-deputy editor ka Alan Dunn.
Yes.
Ngahlala and then nakhona ngathi ngisa comfortable. Well, then things changed. Kwaba ne-restructuring enkampanini. We had to reapply for imisebenzi yethu from level ka deputy editor ke phansi. So I had then submitted the application yami, ngilinda ukuthi ngizobizwa kwi-interview, ngathi ngisalindile, and then I was called to head office. Kwathiwa cha awuzukubizwa kwi-interview, but rather we actually want you to become the editor. Yes, so so I then went back again to Isolezo again in 2016 November as editor until the last year, end of July.
All right. Okay, that's amazing. You know, it's like you were saying, when grace locates you, it really does locate you, and it does appear like that's been the story of your life. So what keeps you going nje, as a professional, you know, like yini nje, maybe the three things that you can say they just always keep you going?
Honestly, other than ukholo lwami, if umuntu engathi mhlambe okay ya ukholo siyalibona but into practical, but I would say ukuthi number one ilona ukholo lami phela abantu babuye
not practical about ukholo because it's the most practical thing.
Yes, well sengiyasho ngithi kuya nokuthi I guess umuntu ukuthatha kanjani.
Ukholo, it doesn't matter to ukholelwa kwini.
But ke ilona bese kuba ukuthi I think honestly kuyangisiza kakhulu ukuthi ngiyawuthanda umsebenzi wami. I nje ngiyayithanda journalism and it is newsroom is my happy place and ngiyawuhlonipha umsebenzi wami, ngiyazimisela, ngiyazinikela kuwona ngoba ngiyawuthanda, ngiyawenjoya. But enye into honestly that keeps me going, I also kudala nga realize ukuthi it's kuubizo kumina ukuba intatheli uma ngibuka even nanendlela izinto that have worked out ngakhona. So because I've realized lokho, it is a blessing that I also don't take for granted. Ngoba bakhona abantu engibaziyo who are in jobs and careers abangawathandi, okuwukuthi umuntu mhlambe uhleli because of imali, noma uhleli because ngempela engenayo enye option, engenawo omunye umsebenzi, but omunye uthola ukuthi kade futhi I realize ukuthi ubizo lwakhe likwenye indawo, but ukuzama ukuthi break into leyo industry kungenzeki. So to be endaweni la where not only uhleli because you are being idealistic, but uhleli because other than ukuthi ubizo lwakho, things are working out. And uyayibona inqubekela phambili empilweni yakho, uyayibona impact yomsebenzi owenza. So all of that nje ngilapho nje kuthenini yazi this is well phela angeke it is working. Ngeke ngize ngithi I also know from uma ngibuka indlela izinto ezenzeka ngayo ukuthi anginayo into yokuthi hayi I will never do ukuthi, ngoba if kwenzeka ngelinye ilanga uNkulunkulu ethi hayi I want you to go and serve me elsewhere, I will be open to that. Kodwa uma ngibuka indlela the past 2 decades or so, you know, this is it, this is where I belong. Yes, and yeah, so
that's good. That's actually quite interesting, because I think this is why maybe you have been able to transition from being employed to being an entrepreneur. So I want you to talk about that transition. How has it been for you? Because I know that jump is difficult for a lot of people that would have stayed in like paying jobs, or who've been working for the longest time and have done, you've done well. I mean, being an editor is the ultimate, I suppose, in the industry. So just talk us through the transition now to starting an online newspaper, Umbele, you know.
Okay, so go 2014, because umyeni wami uyintatheli naye, he had been restless for some time, efuna ukusebenza. Ngithi mina awume ndoda, yo bafuna ukudala istress nje, sibe siphila kahle, sihola kahle, si right. But hlale ibuye lento, you know, every now and then, every 2 years. Aikwaze kwafika la, you know, at some point where we agreed, we were comfortable, we had prayed, saba right, it came with yazini, okay. And this was end of September 2013, and then so ngaleso sikhathi emsebenzini babesakhokha nane-13 checks, so supplements you'll stick around until December, you're not going to give up like 13 check. So Resign end of November 2013, whatever, December. And then he started ngo February. But even ngaleso sikhathi, because ama interests now, it's journalism and education. So kwakuwukuthi uzoke aphesiwe kakhulu izinto ze-education. Ngoba enye into vele from the word go, sinane lokhuzane, sinane masthead, you know, and a logo of idea yokuqala ye-niche publication that we had, because we had gone that far. Kodwa ngaleso sikhathi saba nakho ukuthi ngoba ngase ngi already part of senior management emsebenzini, as much as ngangi aware ukuthi in any of the discussions emsebenzini at strategic level, there are no plans, none whatsoever, for any niche vernacular publication. Kodwa we were always mindful of ukuthi there will always be a perception and there will be a potential conflict of interest ngoba uma ngabe ake sithi ngiya kuzodwa, is uzodwa a potential advertiser. Do I go there as Silindile ngiyokhulumela isolezwe noma ngiyokhulumela lokhu kwasekhaya? So kwakuzodala inkinga. So vele ama ideas that we had for imedia sawapaka. And then waphesiwa le education. So we'd always known ukuthi at some point nami ngingathanda, and futhi kwase kunesikhathi ke nami isingenile into yokuthi hayi i-entrepreneurship sengiyaqala ukizwa. Futhi zikhona izinto, actually I'll tell you about them, that I had done nakhona lapho, kodwa just like into yokwenza economics bulletin SABC ngangarealize ukuthi zisho ukuthini lezo zinto, you know. But so uqhubekile, hayi umnyango waka education wangavuleka. Kwaba khona izinto ze communication ezenzakalayo, hayi kwangathi kuyahlangana lapho ini, and then ngaqhubeka nami kwanda ama opportunities emsebenzini. But then uma qhubeka isikhathi, beginning of 2020, noma ngeke ngene kuma details, but kukhona omunye umhlangano esasibizwe kuona emsebenzini. Uma sibizwa kuona kwaba khona enye announcement eyenziwayo. Generally uma ngiya emhlanganweni mina, even though siphila kwisikhathi where we work with ama phones nani, but nginokuba old school nje, I don't take my phone unless there is a reason. And if I do take my phone, ifone yami kodwa izoba ku-silent and I will not pay attention to it. But for whatever reason, kulo mhlangano, I took my phone. And kwathi uma kwenziwa le announcement, ngavula ilokhuzane idatha efonini, ngathumelela uLanga message ngathi kuqeda ukwenziwa i-announcement ewukuthi nokuthi. Definitely my time independent is up. Kwaku January ngo-2020.
Okay.
And then I left it at that. Saxoxa later ntambama, but saqhubeka. Kodwa nje that was that. And then kwaba khona i-COVID. Then go March. We then went into lockdown. COVID, it was, I think, in lockdown we went on 27. Emsebenzini kwaba, it was the 27th. Emsebenzini it was the 3rd of April. Then there was an announcement yokuthi inkampani is going to cut salaries. So my employer at that time was one of the very first companies that decided to cut our salaries. And we level meaning we took a 45% salary cut. So whatever then ngoba all along sasi nokuthi ulokuthi ay inkampani mithola i-contract enkulu, then sazi ukuthi we are at least covered for isikhathi esiwukuthi, then ngizobe sengiyeza so that we can pursue the media projects. So silokhu sibambe mainly vele ngase nginesikhathi ngi-restless emsebenzini, but umuntu elokhu ebambelele because of the financial security, or whatever we perceived as a financial security. But COVID imifika, it eroded whatever financial security umuntu ayilokhu ebambelelele kuyona. And I then remembered lento eyayenzekile ngoJanuary and how I felt. And then after, I think initially panic kancane, because then kwakukhona nabantu ababegula, but then umuntu then started praying. And sometime in April, as I was praying, it was clear, no, this is it. You need to leave. So we then made a decision in April, but then we still continued praying and kept it to ourselves. But ngoba sasingasayi emsebenzini, we were working from home. So kwakukhona abantu abambalwa e-office abakusuke kufanele babe khona. I then also started office ngangishiye nje izithombe lezi othi uma ungena zibonakale and ezinye izinto nje ezivisible, but I would actually go emsebenzini ngama Sundays quietly ngiqoqa. I started clearing my office right from ngiqoqa nje. I started ngiqoqa between May and I only then started having the conversation with my then boss. It was, I think, on 24 June. We would say, okay, I'm going to be resigning end of June, and then I'll serve my notice, July ngihambe. And then so yeah.
All right. Then, okay. Now we are here. Mele has been running for how long now?
It's 11 months. We turn a year old.
Oh, so yes.
Birthday. Yes. Next month in Yes.
We're looking forward to the cake. So how has it been? How has it been? I mean, you've got like very interesting stories that you write. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs that we've seen, Balangabo, different sectors. And how has that been for you?
It's been absolutely amazing. The stories, the work, it's been amazing, but it has equally been difficult and you know, challenging and at times frustrating. You know, ngoba sisaku as much as the parent company Khanyile has been around for 7 years.
Yes.
So lezi ezinye izinto vele si right siyazi ukuthi how, you know, to handle those. But i-publication okokuqala ngithi we decided ukuthi it will be a daily publication. Ngoba vele I come from that background, I'm a daily publications. We just thought usually I'm a daily deadlines, and that's how sangacabanga ukuthi hey phela ama resources now nama resources ala uqhamuka khona akufani. But we had started Saturday daily, we've committed, and uNkulunkulu emuhle, we have been able to produce every day for the past 11 months. And we are able to ngoba publish Monday to Friday. So it's been njoba ngisho kumnandi ngendlela ehlukene, you know, to get feedback where people say ukuthi nibhala itori ezimnandi, but people also commend equality journalism, where we've also been able to grow the brand. Abantu bayayazi brand, people are starting to approach us, becela ukufeaturishwa kumbele, you know, and even other than entrepreneurs, and none feedback from entrepreneurs, especially laba osomabhizinisi abancane. Uma umuntu esebuya ethi yazi ukuthi sekuvule kumnyango ukuthi kukhona nje, because kukhona nama partnerships esinawo. So there's a young lady one company speed braai, mobile speed braai. So emzini abantu mabe nemicimbi, even beyihlalele as family abenzele inyama. So we featured her, and after featuring her from any partnership esinayo, she was then featured Okhosini FM.
Oh wow.
And uthi her business is just booming after Lelo Khuzani, the interview course. But this is where it started, and because any content sharing agreement esinayo, in a Ilanga newspaper. So her story was also featured elangeni nalokho,
Okay.
you know, has opened. So when you get that, where you realize ngoba vele ezinye zezinto that we exist for, ukuthi we do want to, I guess if I may steal from ilokuzana yenu, shine a spotlight on amalokuzana, ama entrepreneurs, be they emerging or established, but we also feature lababa established. Ngoba senzela ukuthi abantu bezoba nabantu ngoba kuthiwa indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili asebethe ukuyihamba indlela, you know, isikhathi eside nabantu who run these big listed entities, you know, because abantu banezifiso ezingafani nokuthi ke kuhlale kukhona ke kusho ukuthi, you know, as osomabhizinisi abamnyama, we tend to think ukuthi kufanele abantu nje bahlale be osomabhizinisi abancane. So when we feature these corporate leaders and established entrepreneurs aseberana inkampani ezinkulu, we are saying to nalabo somabhizinisi abancane ukuthi you can aspire to that. You know, Black people build those kind of businesses that become huge businesses. You need not uzilokhuze uzivalele noma uzibokse to ukuthi uyohlezi usomabhizinisi omncane. So sizama ukubalansisa zonke lezi. So leyo feedback iyakhuthazana. So that aspect of it, and to be able to ukuthi sifinyelele kulezo indawo njoba last week we listed on mobile app ekuthiwa iAyoba, and that also gives us a stage school at continental level, you know. So zonke lezo zinto ziyasijabulisa, and to also get even a recognition, you know, a recognition from your own peers also goes a long way. Because we've also participated in media conferences. Kukhona enye nje kuthiwa i-Highway Africa organized yi-Rhodes University, and leyo conference leyo basically anyone and everyone, it's one of those conferences ukuthi anyone and everyone who matters with journalism emhlabeni usuke eyingxenye yayo, be it an academic or you know ama publishers nani, and people get to share the latest research nangama trends we-industry. And singakabi nanonyaka, that conference yayingoJune, and you know, to be invited ukuthi wozani, there was another one before that, Women in Media, lapho i-panel esasikuyona yayikhuluma about the future newsroom. So, and they said, you know, mabebuka how we do things, this is what a future newsroom will look like or looks like. So konke lokho, you know, izinto ezisijabulisayo, but it's also been njoba ngisho, it's been just as difficult as well. It's been just as difficult.
But you are here, you're still standing. So I think we should be celebrating the fact that you've kept going, you know, and it can only get better from here. It can only get better from here. Now you work with your husband.
Yes.
I just want you to tell us about that experience. I think you'll find that because of what's happening now with the COVID, so mhlambe because a lot of people have been reflecting even on a lifestyle. You see people opting even for doing homeschooling for the kids, and I'm sure other people will be considering starting businesses as families, you know, and that obviously means that they will be working together. So what are the three things ongayibalula nje ukuthi ziyabaluleka uma nizosebenza ndawonye, because we are like in each other's spaces? I mean, like, yeah. We are colleagues by day and we are lovers by night.
In fact, you end up being colleagues all the time. That's one of the cons, if ngingakubeka kanjalo ukuthi ngoba especially uma ngabe kuyinkampani encane nigcina ni consume umsebenzi, so I would say kubantu who are considering that it's one of the things to actually guard against. We've had to ukuthi sibe conscious of ukuthi sithi asizukukhuluma ngomsebenzi. You know, because sinanabantwana, sinanezinye izinto that are of interest to us. Asizukukhuluma ngomsebenzi where you then are just consumed by umsebenzi, consumed by ukuthi hey mangibuka i-bank balance or those delayed invoices, ngibuka ama-overheads, you know, because for us, our overheads, it's not just about the company, but it's also about our expenses aligned. So, but honestly, I would say, I think kuyasiza ukuthi nihlale nizama ukuyikhumbuza ukuthi nikwenzelane nikwenzayo. You know, the one big advantage is ileyo ukuthi at least kukhona omunye umuntu who fully grasp le vision onayo. Because as an entrepreneur yourself, you will know akuzona zonke izikhathi noma umuntu ungamxoxela lo omxoxelayo la abantu omunye umuntu gets i-vision ngoba kahle hle kusuke kweyakho. So to have omunye umuntu who can fully comprehend ukuthi yini le, and omunye umuntu who is equally vested ekuthenini you want to see le vision being realized is a huge advantage. It is a blessing. And also, you know, it's you would know as a seasoned entrepreneur, it can be very lonely to go by entrepreneur. It can be a very lonely journey. But to again have omunye umuntu okhona la okwazi ukuthi, you know, share whether it's the ups or the downs naye. Kuyasiza kakhulu. And I guess kuyasiza ukuthi ke into enkulu ukuthi we are a praying family. You know, very early on emshadweni wethu silabantu laba abanokuthi noma ngabe the rest of the world ithini uma thina sesivumelene nje yazini asinamsebenzi sile nhlobo ethi futhi even if we are making a mistake, of course we always appreciate ukuthi umuntu mayisuke exwayisa noma umuntu ethini, it comes from a good place isikhathi esiningi. But sile nhlobo nje enokuthi once we have prayed and we are at peace with it and thina sobabili sivumelana, we are good. Ngoba and all the times we have done izinto when the world has looked at us and thought, hi man, because when he left formal employment, it was a few months after sithole umntwana wesibili, and it was a few months after sithuthele emzini omkhulu. So ordinarily kunalo esasihlala kona ngaleso sikhathi, ordinarily it was not a time to give up a second pay slip, a stable, guaranteed. Kodwa, because thina sasazi ukuthi there's that particular September day, ngo 2013, when we were praying and we were at peace with ukuthi no, it's okay. All right. Let's do this. We were comfortable, we went ahead. So namanje, at face value, njengoba kadusho, you would rather into ye COVID sasingayazi namanje it keeps flip-flopping on us. Akekho umuntu ongathi uyayazi. And
absolutely.
You know, but not then last year at face value omunye umuntu would have thought ukuthi but are you not better off trying to weather whatever this COVID storm is? Usenkampanini enkulu. You know, in company, ngisho ngathi uyastrugglisha mhlambe they can always go bayofuna overdraft, whatever. In company will make a plan. Rather than ukuzama, and also, you know, you are coming onto an online space. Yes, it's the future, but nama publications amadala sekubonakala ukuthi it takes time kodwa for an online publication to be viable. So you know, do you really want to do this? But ngoba kukhona lolu suku ngo-April 2020 when, you know, we were praying and this was the decision, we went ahead. So kuyasiza lokho. But sikhona sona isikhathi la ngake ngathi nakho kuzophela umshado. Nakho kuzophela umshado. Ngoba njengoba usho, you know, to be in each other's spaces ngaso sonke isikhathi takes time. Sineyindlela zethu zokwenza izinto sabantu, we may have ama values afanayo, but we have completely different personalities. Ne approach yethu to izinto ngale kokuthi sise lo muntu ngifika ubese na 6 years esebenza la nkampani. Yes, bengiyaye ngisize lapha nalapha, you know, I've always been a part of the company, but akufani, he's always done izinto ngeyakhe indlela. You know, suddenly sekukhona lo muntu, you know,
uphatha lo muntu ngoba uphethe ekhaya.
Lo muntu yes, and uqhamuka nalo muntu akade ephethe newsroom enkulu ocabanga ukuthi uzophatha nala. You know, ziningi izinto that so we had to adapt to indlela esenza ngayo izinto, to nokuthi sibuye sikhumbuzana ukuthi ama strengths ethu ngoba futhi sinama strengths nama weaknesses angafani, kodwa hayi sesiyakwazi nje manje ukuthi hayi siphikisane but find common ground and siphikisane kahle, kungabi ukuthi ngoba futhi enye into angithi nami bekuthi uma ngabe ngifrustrated emsebenzini for whatever reason nje ngize ngizoxoxa la ekhaya, ngizokhala la ekhaya. Manje uma sesixabene la ekhaya one ngifuna umyeni wami lo engijwayele ukutetema kuyena, but
akasabona ucolleague,
akasabona. But enye into angithi ngifuna umyeni wami, umuntu engifuna ukucomplaina ngayo uyena, ulo colleague, uyena lo colleague. So you know, it was quite something to adapt to. Ngiyakhumbula nje khona omunye ubhuti wami wazi wathi, yazi guys, enye into you should try mhlambe kube khona izinsuku, just one day esontweni where omunye niyayazi load yomsebenzi, omunye angabibikho emsebenzi, ninga offi necessarily ngesikhathi esifanayo ngaso sonke, especially during the weekend, yes, because there's also into yabantwana, but mhlambe during the week just so kuyasiza lokho as well ukuthi, you know, sibuye sishayisane ngomoya nasemsebenzini, omunye mhlambe abuya asebenzele kwenye indawo nje, but khona hayi ngasekuqaleni hayi kwake kwashunquthuli, ngabona impela ukuthi hayi ke cha, kulokhu kusho ukuthi umthandazo ungididile ngoba nakho kuzophela umshado.
No, but we are good. I mean, I think thank you so much. That's good advice, I think, for the people that could be considering that route, because I'm seeing a lot of that on social media spaces, you know, just conversations around that. You know, some people it's just a choice, some people it's just because they've lost their jobs, the formal employment, and therefore they are forced to look into doing something else, you know, and as a collective, as families. No, but you guys seem to be doing well. It's good. Behind the scenes, behind the scenes, have you ever had a mentor, Slim?
Angikaze ngibe naye umuntu engithi kuyena ngicela ungimentorisha.
Okay.
But I have been blessed with abantu who have just ngeyabo indlela decided ukuthi yazini wena nje we want to see you succeed, and sizokokunye futhi ngirealize later ukuthi so I call them ama champions. I've always had abantu that honestly I believe have been champions right from SABC. There would be people who would uma ngikhumbula nje ngimbiza ngondodana because uma wakhe uMamsani uDumsani, Shange
Okay.
uMaliyavuza. In fact,
Maliyavuza.
yes, angazi whether naye he decided because wayenokuthi uma wami umamsane, but omunye wabantu very early on, you know, who decided ukuthi I'm going to help you. But there were a number of people nakhona SABC, uVictor Mlife, who, you know, we remain very good and very close friends. Omunye wabantu. But as kuqhubeka isikhathi, I've had champions, and abanye babo, they are people who are not necessarily in the industry. Abanye babo mina as a rule nje, because kukhona omunye umuntu owang advisor early naye, whom I consider who's also a very good friend, one of the country's top sports soccer writers, uMatselane Mamabulu, ukuthi you know, keep a very clear boundary phakathi kwakho nama newsmakers. But kukhona ama newsmakers, you know, who've taken it upon themselves, as ngibazi abantu ngibajwayele ukuthi they are going to contribute somehow, somewhere, ekuthenini they want to see me succeed. But they've been a number of people who've been ama champions. And now that I think about it, actually a lot of them have been men. Because njoba ngisho, I've mentioned uPhilani Mqwaba, uThulani Mbatha as well, you know, has played that role. But there was also uSisnontsha Jambo Petros, who was an executive editor at some point at Business Report. I've had abantu who have contributed, abama champions, and na abanye baya contributor namanje njengoba umuntu eselokhuza esesebenza. But you know, I've never approached anyone to say ngicela ungimentorisha, no.
Okay, all right. No, but I mean, from what you are saying, it does look like there's been quite a few people that have assisted, I mean, along the journey to ensure what you grow in what you do. And have you ever had a mentee, or maybe sponsored along your own journey that are coming after you?
Bakhona, I would say ukuthi bakhona abantu as umuntu elokhuza elida ama newsrooms that you know, you try umubona potential to say okay. And what I generally tend to do is to show abantu to opportunities.
Okay.
People that I've worked with, I mean, I will tell you what I've always been clear ukuthi mina I was never the type of editor ukuthi awuzukwazi ukungifaka while you still work for our publication as your reference. I've always been open. For example, ezinye zezinto that I would do ukuthi if you see an opportunity elsewhere and ukholwa ukuthi opportunity growth, mina I am okay with you applying. I am okay to be your reference, knowing ukuthi there's a possibility yokuthi uzohamba lana, because I have grown, mina, not from ukuhlala newsroom eyodwa. I have grown and developed from ukuya endaweni ezihlukene. And I've always said ukuthi umuya kwenye indawo, if you come back lana, we will be better off, you will be better off ngoba uzobuya usunanolunye ulwazi, usuthuthukile. So ezinye zeindlela lezo that I sponsor, you know, I contribute kubantu ngeyami indlela. But also even njoba ngisho nama opportunities, because ngine interest kakhulu ku-education. So one of the things that I'm always doing, if I share a lot of information about amabhasari, I share a lot of information about this opportunity and that opportunity. And it's one of the reasons why we created Khanyile, which is the education and careers platform, so that, you know, at some point, hopefully, kuzoba nje indawo where ezinye zeindawo which, you know, people can consider they are trusted sources mangabe befuna whatever information about amabhasari ahlukene and whatever other education opportunities. So ezinye zezinto lezo that I do, you know, and whatever other advice umuntu mangabe esuke
talk to us briefly about Khanyile now that you've touched on it, just briefly. Uyini, utholakala kuphi, kanjani?
Okay, Khanyile is an education and careers platform. So into esiyenzayo khona sifeatureisha abantu ama-professionals abaye bachaze ukuthi umuntu wenzani, uqale kanjani umsebenzi, ufundele ini, mapha ama-opportunities akhona. Kumkhanyisi sisebenzisa kakhulu ama-video because sithagetha intsha, and nakhona sisebenzisa isiZulu, and i-reasoning yethu honestly is, yes, while umuntu may say but uma ukhuluma ngemisebenzi nama-careers, you know, there's no need to be that restrictive, but i-reasoning yethu is again ukuthi ziningi indawo, maningi ama-platforms that are in English, that offer this kind of information. So asibona ukuthi kunesidingo, but senzela nanokuthi siyayithi senzela nanokuthi kukhona abanye abantu umuntu uthola ukuthi uma exoxa nomzali mhlambe because of i-level education yomzali, umzali angakwazi uku-understand ukuthi yini le umuntu athi ufuna ukuyifundela. But uma ngabe kukhona i-platform efana nomkhanyisi, kukhona a chartered accountant ekwaziyo ukuchaza ukuthi i-CA yenzani ngesizulu, then ungamlalelisa umzali wakho leyo clip ebese yeza ukuthi umntanami ufuna ukwenza ukuthi nokuthi, yabo, because it just always makes a difference uma ngabe if umzali can be fully part of the journey, you know.
All right, okay.
So yilokho ezama ukwenza, so sibhala-ke ney'tori zelokhuzana umkhanyisi. We do have a website. Sasiqale initially just on social media, so sikhona ku-Instagram, Facebook, active kakhulu ku-Facebook, nakona Instagram sinayo nane-YouTube channel, and then ke kukhona ne-website.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so siyasibhale nangama-achievements ama-tertiary students. Mhlambe, excuse me, uma ngabe la ama-updates ayaqhamuke from the different tertiary institutions. So mhlambe umuntu, there's a breakthrough in some research abayenzile or bebhalile about their alumni. So that's the type of content oyithola kumkhanyisi.
Okay, all right. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. Balalele, I'm sure they will be able to reach out and get through to Umkhanyisi. Any advice to young journalists?
Yes, ngiyazi ukuthi kukhona primarily ukuthi i-industry is shedding jobs. Abanye abantu baye bathi ungezi kwa-journalism ukuthi ngithini, and njengoba ngisho I understand we have not had ama-experiences afanayo, kodwa it is an industry, honestly, uma kuwukuthi ubizelwe kuyona, umsebenzi omnandi, umsebenzi, you know, journalism is the first record of history. But other than that, you get to honestly impact iy'mpilo zabantu ngey'ndlela ey'ningi, you know. Excuse me, if kunomuntu othi mhlambe usenesikhathi ezama ukuthola i-ID and uHome Affairs ukwazi ukuthi entertain or unaka udaba lwakhe because mhlambe sekuphume ephepheni, you know, that is into priceless leyo, honestly. Njoba kade ngisho even ngale example engenzile speed braai, where umuntu saying yazi ngibusy manje umsebenzi uyangena ebhizinisini because of le exposure. So it is umsebenzi omnandi ukwazi uku-impacta iy'mpilo zabantu. But I would say into that I've seen in the last few years, abantu tend to come to kwa-journalism kwesinye isikhathi abanye angazi ngathi bakusebenzisa as a gateway to the entertainment industry, and that's not what it is. So if kuwukuthi mhlambe ufuna ukuduma, mhlambe ufuna ukuba the next Bonang or the next Mini Dlamini, this is not it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, no, this is not it. Umsebenzi nje kodwa omnandi odinga ukuthi kodwa you will also know, because I mean you fanele ube ukuthi umuntu already okukhonzile ukufunda, you know, mhlambe noma ubhoreka uyabhorekela ngasekubhaleni. Mina I would get bored, you know, ngibhorekele ekubhaleni even umuntu esamncane. So uyakwazi ukubona impawu uma ngabe be-introduce umuntu omusha emsebenzini ngisaqashiwe mhlawumbe i-news editor letter, that's a nome intern, and then I'd have just my one-on-one conversation. So why do you want to be a journalist? And so what do you read? Umuntu abale ama online sources. Need to know ngiyabona now, but which publications do you read? Other than the online ones, you know, clearly all bambai, because there's something about a hard copy. So, you know, which journalist nje othanda umsebenzi wakhe ngoba mina already njoba ngeke ngasho I could tell you ukuthi hayi ngiyawuthanda umsebenzi kaBhuti Thomas Khanyile. I could mention a few journalists. So all those things matter. And it's definitely not an industry lucrative.
Yeah.
So awuzu kuba nemali kodwa you will have enough.
Yeah.
Uma ngabe industry fuma, you will have enough, and you can have, you know, because of the technology. Ordinarily, if umbele was a newspaper, mhlawumbe ngaba sakawuqali noma mhlawumbe ngabe usuvalile because of isimo somnotho nje njengamanje. So because of the technology, kukhona namanye ama opportunities, you know, kokunye you could just have a podcast as a journalist. So be a broadcast journalist and have a podcast and usebenzise technology. So akhona ama opportunities, but awuzu ukuba nemali, but you'll have enough. You'll have enough. And you will be happy as well, because umsebenzi omnandi nje. That's umsebenzi omnandi.
All right. I guess if it's your thing, it's your thing. So you will always be comfortable. You know, sometimes it's not always about imali, and because that's also quite relative. Utalako, into engaficheki kwesinye isikhathi, you know, so you do have to look at passion. Ukuthi passion yakho ingakuphi. All right, utholakala lapho umbele. Tholakala kanjani?
Sikhona kwi-website, which is www.mbele.likhanyiletm.co.za. But ke ungasithola ke na kwi-mobile app ye-Ayoba if unaleyo app. Sinanayo, our news channels also listed nakhona.
All right, okay. All right, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Leslie. Kuningi kakhulu tholile sakufunda namhlanje. Wena uyatholakala kuma social media?
Yes, ngikhona ku social media, Silindile Khanyile on Facebook, on Instagram uSilindi CK, and on Twitter I think uSilindi K. Uthi angikho busy kakhulu ku Twitter, Facebook no Instagram kakhulu, yeah. So uSilindi CK ku Instagram, and then uSilindile Khanyile ku Facebook.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Women Thrive. We would like to take this opportunity to wish Umbele everything of the best. Wonke nje umsebenzi enwenzayo lapho kaKhanyile ngathi ungaqhubekela phambili. uNkulunkulu, who is obviously a big part of your lives, from what you were just telling us, praying. Engathi angaqhubeka anandisele zonke imbusiso. Siyabonga kakhulu for joining us on Women Thrive. God bless you, and God bless women of Africa. Siyabonga ku-team at Thriving in Abundance Talk, Busi Kumalo on the technical, Busi Shabalala, our producer, and of course Angel on the hospitality side. Kamalami ngizodwa msimang kansi bande ngithumela uthando babukeli. Siyabonga.